Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show. We do this show every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is where we spotlight the defining moments and accomplishments of today's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, unique and most successful individuals, and this is where you come in. Why? Because this show is for you and this show cannot exist without you. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I bring experts from different niches on different topics to talk about the topics that you have expressed that you want to hear about. It's a topic to take you and your business to the next level. So please join me every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I cannot wait for you to be a part of this community. And if you would love to be a guest on this show, you can email me at info@chosenpathglobal.com, info@chosenpathglobal.com, or better yet, I want you to go to rockyourbrilliance.com, rockyourbrilliance.com, and then I will get back to you once I receive your information. Now, on to today's topic, we have a guest, a brilliant guest, not just a guest, a brilliant guest coming to share about the power of living in peace, not in pieces. The power of living in peace, not in pieces. I'm talking about Kimberly Harmon. And Kimberly is a highly sought after, award-winning literacy coach and a trainer. She has a doctorate degree in education. But what she's really so passionate about is helping individuals overcome their challenges and show them how they can go living from pieces to peace. And they don't have to live in pieces. So if you are joining me right now, or you are still getting ready to join me right now, I want you to help me bring our next guest. But before that, I want you to go ahead and grab your pen and paper and get ready, because she's about to drop some golden nuggets. Please help me welcome my guest, Kimberly Harmon. Kimberly, are you there?
I am here, and as I'm speaking to you, I have several people like texting and inboxing me. I'm like, okay, everybody's waiting until I'm on doing this to decide to want to interact, but that's how life works. So we just roll. That's right. Christy, thank you for having me on. I am deeply, deeply humbled to participate tonight. It's my sincere pleasure. I love sharing this message, and I hope that it will be of benefit to someone. So thank you for having me. I'm very, very humbled and blessed. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us as well. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. So we're gonna move forward. I know it's getting late, actually late where you are. So we're gonna move on with today's conversation that I've been looking forward to dive into. So tell our audience, who is Kimberly Harmon? For those who don't know who you are, tell us, who is Kimberly Harmon? And it's gonna be like a two-part series. So tell us not only who Kimberly is, what was that defining moment that really took you from where you were to where you are, and now you are able to embrace your brilliance?
Well, I was always from birth as a child, an overachiever, a person who was very determined in what I wanted to do. I set goals and I met them, and I had people behind me who were supportive of me along the way. But I want to take you to really, not from childhood, but I want to start from when I was an adult. When I was, I'm going to say 21 years old. When I got, after college, I decided to get married. And I was married in 1990. best day of my life, you know, party. It was a big production. We had a huge wedding party. It was just nothing but fun. 1991, another great year. I had my first child. Then I had another one in 94 and another one in 98. All blessings.
Awesome.
But, the not worst, but what led up to the defining moment for me was a couple of years, I'm going to say like around the year 2000. I started noticing different things happening within my body where I would stand and then I wouldn't be able to take a first step, or my back would get an incredible pain in the back, and just issues with my body where I would just start to kind of shut down. And it had deteriorated over the course of 2 years. At one point, I had actually gone to my son's basketball practice. I was on the third bleacher, and I went to step down, and my whole body went stiff. I couldn't even lift up my arms to brace my fall, and I kind of just slid like this in slow motion.
Wow.
And what broke my fall was the gym floor. So thank God I wasn't facing head on, because my face would have hit the floor, and that's what broke my fall. But instead it was my whole side. And from there, it embarked a 2.5-year journey of tests, different medications, different doctors, trying to figure out what was wrong. And it deteriorated to the point where I actually was in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't leave the house alone. Someone always had to be with me. I couldn't get out of bed by myself. I couldn't get out of a chair by myself. Now, mind you, at this time, I'm 40 years old.
Wow.
Career-wise, I'm at the top of my game. I'm training teachers. I'm an adjunct professor, and I'm a regular teacher working with first graders in early intervention. And I'm training teachers how to do the same thing. In a marriage, I had 3 children who were involved in different activities. So I was a girl on the go. I was the typical superwoman. And then my body was shutting down, and I got to the point where I was in the wheelchair. So we went to a highly respected hospital where I used to live. And the doctor came in, and I'll never forget, I'm hunched over like this, using the desk to support myself, because I can't sit straight up like I'm sitting straight up now, because the muscles in my back were spasming. So I couldn't support myself. I had to use the desk to support myself. I'm in a wheelchair, so I wouldn't fall out. And the doctor comes in, and he comes in with 3 other doctors behind him, and everybody's got a clipboard. And he says to me, defining moment, you know, Ms. Harmon, you have a very rare condition. There is no cure. We can treat the symptoms, but we're basically going to need you to start looking into nursing homes to spend the rest of your life. Now I'm 40 years old.
Wow.
And my first thing was, okay, you don't know me. That message was for the people in the next room, because I'm not listening to that. And at that point, I had an epiphany. And this is something that I would like your viewers, your listeners, to write this down. This is the moment when my whole mindset changed. And I realized that my mentality creates my reality. Please write that down. My mentality creates my reality. At that moment, when he gave, and this is a highly world-renowned doctor, gave me that information, I had one of 2 choices. I could either accept that, okay, this is really rare. There's only X number of people worldwide that have this disorder. So I better start looking at good nursing facilities, or I could fight. And I decided that I was not going out like that. And that's the thing that I want you to always remember, that in life, we always have a choice. And I host a page on Facebook called Power Principles. And what we do is focus on different things, strategies, tips to help us navigate life. Because what we have to realize is that life is always going to happen. There's always going to be something, but we always have a choice. So there are three things that I really want to focus on today. The first thing, in order to manifest itself and to live a life of peace amongst all this chaos, and the chaos could be around you or within you. But to manage that, we have to first prepare, write that down. We have to recognize and use our power. And thirdly, we have to fulfill our purpose. When we do these things, then we can have that inner peace that goes beyond all understanding. So no matter what's going on around me, I'm still okay. Just like today, a few minutes ago, we were trying to get started on this video and we were having technical issues. Now Christy and I could have just freaked out, but I got the laptop, I tried a couple of other things. It's like, life is going to be like that. There's going to be moments where you have certain pieces of your life that are okay, but then there's other pieces over here that aren't. Like for me, I had a health issue, but you might have an issue with your finances. You might have an issue with your marriage. You might have an issue with your children. You might have an issue with the job. You might have an issue with all the above. But the thing is, we have a path to achieve the peace. So I want to kind of walk us through that, if you don't mind, Christy. Is that good?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So the first thing we talked about was prepare. You have to be prepared. Before you can even get to a place of peace, you have to prepare. How do we do that? The only way to prepare your mind, your body, your spirit is through prayer and meditation. They go hand in hand. You can't do one without the other. Now, your prayer, for me, I wake up every day and I say, thank you, Lord. Now, you might not be a believer. That's fine. You acknowledge the universe, but you want to say thank you. Meister Eckhart says if the only prayer you ever say your entire life is thank you, then that will be enough. Think about why. Because when you say thank you, you are opening up the doors of gratitude. You are acknowledging to God and to the universe that you are appreciative of what you have and what you don't have. Because sometimes you might not have something that you really, really want to achieve or acquire because you're not ready for it yet. So we have to make sure that we give thanks for what we have and what we don't have. And think of prayer as your opportunity to talk to God. Meditation is God's opportunity to talk to you. When we meditate, we're clearing our mind. We're freeing our mind of all the stuff, all the things that we're juggling. We're emptying our spirit, so we actually become an empty vessel. So when you become that empty vessel, then God can pour into you his vision for you, his thoughts for you. So that's why meditation is such an important integral piece of prayer and preparing ourselves to do what? To unleash our power. There is no way you can utilize your power unless you go through prayer and meditation. And the interesting thing about power, I love when Alice Walker, she says that the most common way that people lose their power is by thinking they don't have any.
That's deep. That is absolutely deep. Yes.
You have to remember that we have the power. Think about me in a wheelchair, 40 years old, go-getter, top of the game, making all kinds of money, and somebody telling me you need to start looking at a good nursing home to live out the rest of your life. I was like, wrong girl, not me. I have power. At that moment, even though my body was limp, and non-functioning, it was shutting down, I knew in my brain, and that this goes back to my mentality creates my reality. I was not going out like that. I knew I had power. You have power within you, but you have to be the one to bring it out. So you want to bring out your power and unleash your power. Once you do that, you've already prepared your mind and your spirit through prayer and meditation. Okay, now when we talk about power, we want to talk about taking action, and not just action, but I always say action steps, because a lot of times people will say, take action, make a plan. But you have to take action steps. And the word steps is important here because, let me find a pen. Do I have a pen? Yeah. Let me show you something. Okay, I have this pen here. Now, if I say, okay, I'm going to take action. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to take action. Usually what we should do is kind of look back to see where we've been, what we've overcome, and use that as lessons so we can move forward, right? But think about that. I'm here, I'm looking back, and looking back is good. The past is a place of reference, not residence. So it's okay to look back, just don't stay there. Look back.
Say that again. Say that again. You can't just go without just stopping for a minute on that drop-in. Go ahead.
The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. Too many of us get caught in the past and we're afraid to move on. So the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. I use my past, and I hope you use your past to draw from the lessons we've learned so we can make informed decisions when we move forward. Again, my mentality creates my reality. Now, moving forward, look at what I'm doing. Moving forward, I'm on the same level. I'm taking action, I'm moving forward, but I'm still basically on the same level. Here's why I say taking action steps makes a difference. Think of steps, think of a staircase. You're moving up, right? You're climbing up. So I'm looking back, using my lessons. I'm moving forward, but look at my pen. I'm moving up and up and up. So when I originally started down here, now because I took action steps, I'm up here. So you want to take tangible steps, achievable goals that you can use to rise above, not just moving on a lateral position or horizontal position, but you want to rise above. That's an important piece because that'll bring you out of whatever is going on around you. Because remember, we're talking about trying to find peace, trying to be centered. So you don't want to still be on that same level. You want to be above it so you can have that inner peace. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep going. Keep going. Absolutely. Okay. I'm loving this golden nuggets you're dropping here tonight.
Stop me if I'm going too fast.
No, go ahead, please.
The educator in me, I do that. So we prepared our mind through prayer and meditations and gratitude to open up the door. We've unleashed our power. We recognize that we have a choice in the decisions that we've made. And we're adjusting our thinking because my mentality creates our reality. Even Bob Proctor, he said, the positive thoughts we think give out the positive results we seek. So you want to keep that going. You're going to take action steps. And then the last thing you're going to do, and this was one that was really for me, is it's not the last thing, I'm sorry. It was one that was easy for me and important for me, is have transparency. In order to have peace in your life, you have to be transparent. Too often we hide behind all kinds of masks. You know, we don't want people to know this about us or that about us. You ask me anything, I will tell you. There is no greater freedom than being transparent, because then you don't have to hide things. You don't have to lie about things. Tell it like it is, and it is so freeing. And again, we're talking about having peace. So that transparency is something, don't slip on that. Honesty, integrity, and transparency. Take the first letter of each of those words and you've got a hit. Honesty, integrity, and transparency. Quick way to free yourself. Free yourself, and just, it's like a weight is lifted off your shoulder, because when we, and a lot of times we tend to hold things in and put on the mask and not tell different things because we're afraid of what others may think. You know, don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about trying to explain yourself to somebody, because people already have in their minds what they're going to think. You're not going to change them any different. It's just like politics and religion. I have my religion. You're not going to convert me to anything. You have your political views, and those are your views. I'm not going to change. You know, so get off of that. But be transparent. Prepare your mind through prayer and meditation. Take those action steps that move you up and above, out of the situation, so you can have peace. Be transparent. So there's nothing to hide here. It is what it is. And the last one, the last step to put you on that path to peace, this is the one that I struggled with most, was having faith in uncertainty. Have faith in uncertainty. You always have to have a goal. But how we get to that goal, I was always the type of person that I was a planner. I had every step nailed out, and there was no room for negotiation. What I've learned, and what I hope some of you will get from this, is that from where I start and what my goal is, I'm going to allow for life to happen, because life happens. Things will happen. We have to accept that life is a journey. And by that, that means that there are pits and valleys, there are highs and lows. Things are going to come at us. Paulo Coelho, I always say his last name wrong. He wrote one of my favorite books, The Alchemist. He says, the thing about life is that it either is nothing happens at all or everything happens at once. And we can kind of all relate to that. So what happens is, if I'm here and my goal is here, I'm going to allow myself, I'm going to allow my mind, remember, my mentality creates my reality. I'm going to allow my mind to be flexible. So whatever comes, I'm going to shift. I'm still going to get to my goal. You still have to set your goal. But the way that we get there is not going to be so rigid. That was what I struggled with, the uncertainty. I didn't like the unknown. I was one of those people that had that very fixed mindset where I wanted to know what I wanted to know, and it was going to be the way I got there, and I planned it out, and I had a second plan and a third plan. But once you release that and say, this is my goal, and Deepak Chopra talks about that. He talks about setting the intention and then detaching from it, and let the universe, let God lead you to your intention. So to get on the path to peace, prepare your mind through prayer and meditation. You're going to acknowledge that life is a journey and take those action steps. You're going to be transparent. And then you're going to have faith in the uncertainty, because that's where the journey lies. And life really is a journey. It's meant to be explored and have fun. And yes, there will be times where things will not go as we planned it, but there's our plans and there's God's plan. So we have to realize that we can't control everything. So that's how you kind of get to the path of peace. So I hope that was helpful.
Awesome, awesome. I love these nuggets you dropped in here regarding how to live life from pieces to peace, or how not to live life in pieces. And like you were talking about having faith in an uncertainty, and that's one of yours. And mine, yours is about planning too much, planning to the T, right? Now, mine is about, I'm very analytical. I am too analytical that I will analyze something. I mean, I will analyze myself out of something.
I'm with you.
That's,
I'm with you.
You know, and sometimes in this journey, I realize that sometimes just go ahead and do it. The only way to get anything started is to get something started. And once you start doing it, you will find the process to complete it. But if you're trying to figure it out, if you're trying
that was the last thing I was saying was about, you know, you had to have preparation, power, and then that will lead you to your purpose. And exactly what you just said will lead you to your purpose. Like my purpose, I've always been an educator. And even when I was a little child, my mother was like, you know, I always knew you were going to be a teacher, but I let other people kind of get in my way and keep me from doing that. But I ended up fulfilling my purpose, because if it's truly the vision, and the vision always comes to you, it doesn't come from you, it comes to you. It was always something within me. So I never questioned it. I finally broke through and lived out my purpose. Now, when I became disabled with the condition, I said, okay, it still was in my heart to I worked with children who were beginning readers who had very difficult time reading. And I worked with their parents, and I also trained their teachers. So what I've done since I am no longer working is I started a nonprofit organization that actually addresses those needs. Early intervention is important when it comes to reading. We have so many children now who are in middle school and high school that are reading so far below grade level. But it's because when they first started school, no one intervened when we saw an issue. And I always use the analogy, if you were in your office and you saw your trash can next to your desk started to get a little spark, like it was about to catch fire, would you wait until it was fully engulfed before you decided to put water on it, or would you act immediately? Or if you fell and cut yourself, would you wait until you were bleeding profusely before you tried to stop the bleeding? And that's kind of what we have been doing in education. We wait until the children are so far beyond. And what happens is we have to have them reading on grade level by third grade. Why? Because the way that we teach shifts. First and second grade, you're learning how to read. In third grade, it switches to reading to learn. So if you don't know how to read by third grade, how are you going to learn? See, I taught a little bit of time as a third grade teacher. And during that time, I would have to tell the children, okay, go read this article, look up this article, read it, and then we're going to come back and discuss it. Well, if you don't know how to read, what are you going to do? So that's why early intervention is so important. So in the grander scheme of things, when we talk about plans, you know, it's not my plan, God's plan. It was never my plan to be sitting here talking to you. I would be still working with my children, doing what I absolutely loved, and training my teachers, doing what I absolutely love. But maybe this happened to me so I could have a broader platform to get that message out. Because a lot of people don't realize, and I think I was speaking to you, I spoke to someone who was in, they were in San Diego, but they advocate for education, and they're looking at these third grade test scores, these reading scores, to determine if they're going to need to build prisons or schools. They call it the school to prison pipeline. So the nonprofit organization helps parents. We have a little book that, just a little guide that gives them some tips that they can do at home to work with their children in conjunction with their teacher. So, you know, power, your preparation, your power leads to you living out your purpose. And when you live out that purpose, you have peace. Like me working on this nonprofit, my website designer is killing me because I'm not tech savvy and he's trying to get my website up and going. And, but I have a sense of peace about it. Like it calms me down, even though there might be another facet in my life where things aren't as good or they're not running as smoothly. But when you have that one thing that you can center on and you can focus on, it gives you peace. So that's all part of the path. I say all that to say.
So Kimberly, I want to go back to living, the power to live in peace, not in pieces. That you talked so eloquently about, and you dropped so many nuggets. Now I want to ask you, mindset is very important in whatever we do, especially if we're trying to transform our life. So what was your mindset during that period of time you were told you will live the rest of your life in the nursing home? To go from there to where you are now, what was your mindset?
I had to fight. I was not going to do it. So what I did when I went home, and it's funny how God works. I used to always complain that my master bathroom was very small. And I used to love looking at the TV shows where they had these grand master bathrooms, like a space here and a space here and a space over there for this and that. And I was always like, oh, I wish I had that. But my house was built in the 70s. So my master bathroom was this small. Well, when I became disabled and I couldn't even, for me to get to the bed to where my master bathroom was, it could take me forever because I couldn't walk. So I kind of would hold on to furniture and just pull myself along or get in the wheelchair and wheel myself there. Thank God for that little bathroom, because if it had been bigger, I definitely would have needed someone to help me go in and do what I needed to do. And that was just something, call it pride, call it whatever. I just did not want to do that. So it was about fighting and deciding how I wanted to live out my life. I was still young, I'm barely 40. And my parents are still living. In fact, today is my father's birthday. He turned 79 years old.
Happy birthday, Father.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to your dad.
I have my two oldest living relatives married. My aunt and uncle on his side, one's 91 and the other one, one's 90 and one's 92. So theoretically, I would have had another 40, 50 years. So there's no way I'm going to be in a nursing home, and I associate that with elderly people. So what am I going to do? And I knew I had all this knowledge in my head, and I loved doing what I was doing career-wise. I used to always sit sometimes and be like, I can't believe they actually pay me to do this, because it was such a passion, and it was so fulfilling to watch these children. And there was no way, my mind, I trained my mind, there was no way that I was going to succumb to living in a nursing home. What kind of life would that be? I was too young. I had 3 kids that were very active and doing different things. And I was in school working on my dissertation, and, it just wasn't going to happen. So that goes back to power. When people think they don't have any. And in that moment with me, I couldn't even sit up when the man told me that I had to go to the nursing home. I wasn't even able to physically sit up without being propped up and strapped in a wheelchair so I wouldn't fall out of the wheelchair, But now I travel, I moved, I made a big life decision where I decided at one point, okay, I'm going to move to a completely different part of the country. I moved by myself and set up shop, so to speak, and meeting new people, doing new things. After 25 years of marriage, we amicably ended our marriage. My I don't call him ex, my former husband and I, we still speak. I don't call him an ex-husband, because to me that means like you X them out of your life. Always be a part of my life. We got married when we were kids. And, we have children and we have grandchildren. So, it's a matter of taking control of your power. If I can do it with my health crisis, and some of you, your listeners and your viewers might have health crises, or they might have some other type of crisis that they're going through. You can do it. It's just a matter of believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. I remember.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're getting close to the time to close. And guess what? I got so excited about this. I don't even think I introduced my name. I don't know. I don't remember that. This is Christy Iwuchukwu.
Oh,
listen,
you did.
you are still listening to Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show that I do every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And today I am so thrilled to be joined by my guest, Kimberly Harmon. We're talking about the power to live in peace, not in pieces. The power to live in peace and not in pieces. And one of the things that she said that I really like, among every other thing that she said, is really, my mentality creates my reality. My mentality creates my reality. And that is so true.
Remember nothing else from today. Remember that, because that will be what steers you to how you want to live your life. And I actually just got that trademarked.
All right. So, audience, if you are listening right now, I want you to remember to come back here every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to join me on this show, Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show. I want you to be a part of this community. And also, I'm a confidence coach helping you get where you want to be by unleashing your confidence so that you can rock your brilliance. So, Kimberly, before we close out, tell our audience how they can contact you.
Oh, okay. Our website, like I said before, he's fixing a couple of things on me, but you can reach me by phone and email. Our phone number is 786-377-4210. Again, 786-377-4210. Or the best thing to do is email me at read, R-E-A-D, the number 2, achieve, A-C-H-I-E-V-E, Inc., I-N-C. So it's all one word. Read 2, the number 2, achieve, Inc., and that's at gmail.com. Email me your name, the issues that you're having, if it's related to reading or if it's related to transformational thinking, and we can have a little dialogue. So you can, either one of those. My website should be up in a couple of days. Since I've been on this call, I've gotten 2 texts from him wanting some information to get some things straight. But we do have a website. It's not up yet, so I don't want to give out the address because I don't want him to freak out if anybody starts texting. But it's read 2, the number 2, achieve, Inc., I-N-C, at gmail.com.
All right. Well, audience, be sure to take advantage of that offer. Contact Kimberly if you have questions relating what she talked about or the works that she works with others. So before we close out, Kimberly, I just want to take the time to tell you I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time. You should be sleeping at this time, but you still made the time to come and have this awesome conversation. And hopefully, I am going to bring you back again because I know you still have a lot to talk about, but we're limited.
I could, each of those 3 things, I could do a whole show.
Okay.
Plus, I have other things too. Mother has lived.
Okay, so I will be more than glad to bring you back to share some more. But at this time, I just want to tell you thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I hope that I can bring you back again. Thank you. And bye.
And I would love to have you come visit us on Power Principles because I know your story and it's awesome, and I think it would be absolutely empowering. So I'm going to extend that offer now. Also, to extend an offer to anyone who does email me, I do have a free gift offer for you, and just keep in touch.
All right. Thank you so much. And bye-bye for now.
Thank you.